All right, hi guys. Welcome back from spring break, such as it is. I'm going to create a few videos and post them on Rampages as we go forward, just to try to make this as human as possible. Today, I wanted to provide a video to go over many of the same things that I've already sent emails about, as far as our online tools and where to find things on Blackboard, just kind of an organizational overview of where to find things for UNIV 112 going forward. Made a little list of things I want to talk about here. Also, I want to talk about the Unit 2 synthesis essay that should be in draft form at this point, and then how we're going to share those and work with those this week. So let's go to Blackboard, and we'll just start with that. Let's see. Sorry, Blackboard is covered up by this toolbar up here. So let me see if I can get it down here where I can find it. There it is. Okay. All right, so our Blackboard, we now land, when you just go to Blackboard, we land on an announcement page, which is pretty self-explanatory. These will be, I'll update and provide announcements on here so that you can kind of see and keep track of what we're doing. The unit schedule has been updated. So everything else, the reason I'm starting with Blackboard is because Blackboard is familiar. We've used it, and I've tried to keep the structure the same, because you've got plenty of new things to think about this week and new tools to get used to. So I wanted to keep Blackboard as familiar as possible. So even though we now go to an announcement page first, you can still go to the weekly schedule page, and this is where we have all the week's materials kind of put together. And so you'll see down here, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute, that I've created a folder that's got resources for online instruction, and we're currently in week 11. So I put that folder right before week 11 so that it was there, especially this week when you're getting used to where to find that information. There's also always been a unit schedule that's been posted along with the syllabus here. That's been updated now for the Unit 2 daily schedule. So I want to look at that for just a moment with you. All right, you can see that it's the same familiar unit schedule that we've been working off of since, I guess, February 18th. So the only thing that's been added right here is I've added the Zoom classrooms as links on this PDF. And when I create the Unit 3 schedule, I'll do the same thing. So you can, if you're in the 9:30 classroom, the 11 or 2, they're all different Zoom links, but you can use these here. Now, these are also available in many other places on Blackboard, but this is one of the places that I've posted them. And then let's go down here to what we're doing now. So we had spring break. Hopefully this is humorous and not offensive. I actually think the coronavirus as a graphic is kind of pretty. Anyway, week 11 is this week, week 12 is next week. So we're going to spend the next 2 weeks still focused on Unit 2. You can see that the schedule includes virtual Zoom meetings on Tuesdays. So here's the deal with those. I thought, and this is all described in the document that I sent out that you've hopefully already looked at. It would be nice, if possible, for us to have some in-class synchronous instruction, which will be our Tuesday 9:30, 11, 2 o'clock meetings, depending on your class. And that's when you would use the class Zoom links at that time. I'll try to be there a few minutes early, just like I usually did when we had physical in-class classroom meetings. And that's when you would click on those links to join that meeting. The first time it might feel a little weird and you'll be getting used to it. The first Zoom meeting I did was actually last week. So I've only been working with it for a week. So we'll just try our best. What it requires is either phone access. You can dial in with the phone, and that would be probably preferable if you want to participate, but you don't have a strong internet access at your location, or you don't have a computer that's got internet access. Otherwise, it's pretty simple from a computer. It'll ask for your mic and your camera to be turned on for the meeting. You don't have to have your video camera turned on if you don't want to, but the mic would be needed so that you can participate. The idea with the Zoom meetings is that we would be able to have some discussion and participation, and also just kind of create the practice of getting together once a week. Now, we won't do this on Thursdays. This is just a Tuesday thing. So that's why you see these. So tomorrow, what we'll do, that would be the 24th of March, is we'll see how we get logged in, and kind of we'll explore that and share it. And then I'll talk to you about your papers and how we're going to do that. So as you can see, this schedule has been updated through the end of Unit 2. For the rest of this week, on the 26th and 27th, we're going to do small group conferencing where you'll get some peer feedback from someone on the draft of your Unit 2 essay. Talk about that in a moment. And then the next Tuesday, we'll have another Zoom meeting. And then the final papers of your Unit 2 essays are going to be due on Thursday, April 2nd. I'll say more about that in a minute too. All right. So we've got the Unit 2 weekly schedule that's been updated. We've got the weekly schedule that we looked at. The only other thing I wanted to explore is this resources for online instruction and helpful information. So here you'll find the same information, and well, the way this is organized, let me go back one, is I've got a Zoom link for the 9:30 class and a Google folder for the 9:30 class. Then I've got a Zoom link for the 11 a.m. class and a Google folder for the 11 a.m. Same for 2 p.m. And then finally, our course Rampage is linked here. That's where this video is posted. So I've already instructed you to kind of use our course Rampage, and we will be using the course Rampage when I want to put out videos or mini lectures or explanations for you all to look at. A minute ago, I was talking about our Zoom meetings on Tuesday. If you can't make those Zoom meetings, it's not required. I think if it's possible for you to come, then you should try. But I don't know what your lives are like. I don't know what additional responsibilities and time commitments you have at this point. Nobody asked to take an online class this semester. It just kind of happened, right? So in that case, you don't have to participate in those Tuesday Zoom meetings. What I will do is all of those Tuesday Zoom meetings, classroom meetings, will be recorded. It'll take a while for that recording to get converted into a file that I can then upload on YouTube and then share with you from the course Rampage. So all of our Zoom meetings will be recorded, put on YouTube so that they can be closed captions as best as YouTube can do that, and then also posted for you to review. All right, so you'll find all of your Zoom links, all of your Google folder links, and all of your course Rampage, the one course Rampage link. That's all right here under these resources for online instruction. And that's not to say that you should ignore the other document that I sent out earlier, which was the post-spring break guide. Hopefully you've already taken a look at this, but this document, let me make it a little larger. This document is an overview of everything that we've adjusted. Um, it includes my office hours. So, this is kind of the document that's providing an overview of all these changes and everything. And then a lot of the links are found in here, but also some explanation of why we're doing what we're doing and kind of what my approach will be. So that's what this section here, guiding strategies. These all have little bookmarks so you can zoom right to them. Zoom. Um, the strategy here is we need to stay in touch. If I lose you, if you kind of disappear, if you don't respond to my emails, if you don't reach out to me when you're confused or not sure what to do, then the communication is really severed. And once the communication is severed, then we're probably going to run into some issues with being able to finish the class. So stay in touch. There's lots of ways to do that. One of them is that I've created office hours and extended office hours that we can have Zoom meetings individually, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. The idea here is that we're going to be compassionate, flexible, and we're going to adjust to the situation. All right, I mentioned that you could use office hours to contact me and be in touch. So there's all the office hours will be done as Zoom meetings, unless that doesn't work for you, and then we'll figure out something else. But you would use this link, which is my personal link, and this is what I'll have open when I have office hours. So from Monday to 1 to 3, I'll have this open. If you want to meet with me, you can just go to this link. You might have to wait in the waiting room area, a virtual waiting room area. If I'm already meeting with someone, in which case just wait there. And as soon as I'm done with someone else, then it'll let me meet with you instead, or in addition. So you can see that there are a lot of office hours here that I'll just be having my Zoom link open and ready for anybody to show up. The alternate way to do that is to email me, and we can schedule a time to meet one-on-one through Zoom as well. But the Google Doc here has the my personal Zoom link. I'll also put that on Blackboard. I'm realizing as I'm talking here that I should probably also put that under these resources here. So I'll put my personal, this will be updated. But this goes through all the details about also if you just want to phone in for those meetings rather than use your computer, you can do that. All of our syllabus adjustments are here. So there's some information about attendance that you should be familiar with. Clearly, we're not going to do a group presentation. So the group presentation has been adjusted. Participation, preparation, and collaboration. This discusses how I'll get do some evaluation and get you to do some self-reflection of that going forward. And then the attendance, of course, you're going to be getting attendance now by logging into Blackboard twice a week at a minimum. I recommend that you check out Blackboard almost every day. Check out your email definitely every day. You should be scheduling time as much as whenever it's possible for you, but you should be scheduling time to attend to all of your classes in a kind of an organized, systematic way so that you're not losing traction with any of your classes. And then all the links, the Google folders, the Rampage, all that stuff, the Zoom links, the same links that I posted on Blackboard are also posted in this document. And then the explanation that we'll have synchronous meetings starting on March 24th. Basically, everything I'm telling you in this video is also available right here in this resource guide, which again is linked from one of the announcements that I sent. But I'll also add that link to the other folder too. Okay, that's a lot to think about. That's a lot I just went over. And I'm going to pause here just for a second so that I can also talk to you a little bit about these Unit 2 papers and the drafts that you're working on. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about those Unit 2 papers. I know I've gone on 15 minutes here, but this hopefully I can finish in the next 5 minutes to not make this video longer than it should be. I'm still working on trying to figure out a way to be concise and focused in video format. Anyway, the Unit 2 essays. Let's go to our Blackboard page. As with all assignments, you'll find instructions for the assignments under the assignment folder. If you scroll down, you'll get to the Unit 2 Research and Synthesis essay, and you'll get the full assignment handout, which has been updated as of yesterday, Sunday, I believe. So some of this will look very familiar because the assignment didn't change from the very beginning. One of the major changes that I made is I took out the analysis part. So this is just a synthesis paper where you're synthesizing information from the sources that you find based on your topic. I did mention in the email that I sent out earlier that I provided a lot of feedback on your annotated bibliographies and thesis statements that you sent. And so those have been graded, and I left comments on Blackboard where you get your grades so that you can have some feedback. Sometimes the feedback was making suggestions for revision of your thesis statement, or some questions about your sources as far as this isn't a scholarly source. You still need to use a scholarly source. So all the requirements for this paper are laid out here. You should be very, very familiar with everything in this document. So instead of writing an analysis at the end, you're writing a bit of a conclusion. You might talk a little bit about why the topic matters, why it's still relevant today, what questions remain that aren't answered in your paper, because you know, there might be some issues that you decide, hey, that's outside of the scope of my paper. I'm not going to talk about that here. You might, you know, even acknowledge or address some of those questions that aren't part of your paper, or some of the issues that aren't part of your paper in your conclusion. Someone asked, your word count should be inserted after your final paragraph on these, and therefore your reference list should not be counted in your word count. Though you should have an APA citation, APA formatted reference list at the end. There's a link here to VCU Rights to help you with that. Also, as you already know, all sources in your paper should have in-text citation for both paraphrased and quoted information. This is one of those issues that in UNIV 111, some of you did not put in-text citations in your paper, or you put in-text citations for quotes, but you didn't put in-text citations for paraphrased information. I'm going to try something out here that I haven't used before. Maybe, let's see if I can, well, maybe I can't. Yeah, let me go to whiteboard. So an in-text citation, just in case I'm on the fly here, an in-text citation in a paper looks like this. So you're writing, the Confederate monuments was built in 1892. All right, so clearly that information comes from a source. Let's say it's paraphrased, you didn't quote it directly. An in-text citation would be, let's say I wrote the article. That's when you put the author and the date inside the body of your paper in the text. So that's, sorry, that's a bit of a diversion, but that's what I meant by in-text citation. Okay, continuing along just a little bit, I'm almost done. Here's our process. So let me go back to that assignment. Yeah, let's go down here to all the other information on here is pretty much the same that we've already been talking about. So what you've been doing is developing your draft using scholarly sources, at least one scholarly source, a minimum of 5 sources total. All of them should be substantive, meaning a substantive news article or an organizational report or scholarly articles, as opposed to article sources that are less trustworthy. We talked about all that before spring break and how to review. You can go back into weeks 8 or 7 and you'll find lots of information about how to review a source to know whether it's substantive or to know whether it's credible, trustworthy, reliable, the CRAP test. All right, so let's say, so tomorrow is when those complete drafts are due. What you'll do with your complete draft, and this is important, is once you have your complete draft, you're going to upload it to your individual folder in the class Google folder. So for example, right here, let's just use a 9:30 a.m. example. You're in my 9:30 a.m. class. You're done with your draft. You're ready to go with it. You're going to go to the 9:30 a.m. class. You're going to find your folder. So all the students will have a folder. Let's say I'm Kevin. I'm going to click on my folder, and then over here, I'm going to upload by clicking on New. I'm going to go to File, Upload, and this is where I'm going to go to my computer and upload the draft of my paper from my computer. And you can title it once you've uploaded it. You know, let's do that. Let's go ahead and upload something and say that that's going to be my paper. Then I'm gonna, if this is the paper I just uploaded, I'm gonna rename it. I can do that by right-clicking on it. Go to rename, and now I'm gonna name this draft of Unit 2 synthesis paper. All right, now I've uploaded my draft. I've titled it Draft of Unit 2 Synthesis Paper. That's what I need to do for tomorrow, March 24th. Go back to assignments, go back to this document. Sorry, get this back up here where we can see it. Okay, so then after everyone has uploaded their papers, it says that by Wednesday, the following day, a complete peer review of classmates' draft is due. So the next step then is that you're going to review each other's papers. I'll talk about this in our Zoom meeting tomorrow too, but I just want to go over it a little bit here. So that'll mean, let's say, you'll know whose paper to review because you'll look at our weekly folder for week 11, and you'll see this grid of appointments. This is something we started before the break, but I simplified it. I needed to revise it so that there's just, that we're just doing pairs instead of groups of 3 and 4. So you'll see that these are a little different, and I also extended it over 2 days instead of just 1 day. What you need to do is take a look at this and find your name and make sure that you can actually meet on Zoom. Here's the link you'll use so that Kevin, Isaiah, and me will meet at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning by clicking on this link, and then we'll all be there together. That's where we're going to deliver our feedback to each other over these Unit 2 drafts. So find your name on this list, look at the day and time. If you're over here on this side of the list, you're on the Friday side. If you're on the Thursday side, confirm that you can meet at the time that you're scheduled to meet. This is very important. If you can't meet then, you know, I moved you to Friday, and Kaylee can't meet at 10 o'clock because she's doing something else at 10 o'clock on Friday. That's when you need to email me and let me know, and I can still make adjustments to the schedule based on when you're available to have these Zoom meetings on Thursday and Friday. There were a few of you who I didn't see before spring break, and I was uncertain about your statuses, and I still haven't heard back from you. So please, I'm expecting, if I don't hear from you, that you're going to dial in at these times on these days. Again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. I think we've talked about pretty much everything we need to talk about for today. Let me check my list. So you put your drafts in the Google folder. Your peer will be able to access your draft through your Google folder. And then I'm going to email a peer draft, a Unit 2 peer review of draft form. I'll email that to you so that you will each have a form that you're going to fill out before our meetings on the 26th or the 27th with each other. Okay, that's a lot of information. I've gone 27 minutes, way too long for a video. I apologize. I'll get better at this. I'll talk to you soon, but let me know if you have questions.